Well, St Kilda signed former coach Brett Ratten to a 2-year contract extension in July of 2022. He was sacked in October of the same year. That paved the way for Ross Lyon to return to the helm as coach for season 2023 and beyond. Just 4 months ago, Senior Football Administrator Geoff Walsh was appointed to the role of Head of Football. Today, he stepped down, citing changes to his family situation, and we are all hoping it isn't anything too serious and our thoughts are with him and his family. Walsh was a part of the panel who appointed Lyon, and he made an instant impact when speaking to the media. He spoke with authority, and there's a no-nonsense tone that wins respect from intelligent football fans. Ratten wasn't the only casualty of the sweeping review. Head of list management James Gallagher was also let go. But in better news, Lyon's friend and former colleague Stephen Silvani was predictably appointed to that role over the weekend. Lyon would never have imagined the carnage that was set to challenge him before a game had even been won or lost. St Kilda opens its season against Fremantle in just 48 days' time, and to be brutally honest, it is a club who are mightily unsettled. Lyon is an experienced coach, but he hasn't sat behind the glass since 2019. He's overhauled his entire coaching staff who would be searching for chemistry and a collaborative game plan. He's got a new list manager who was set to report to the head of football, who has just walked out. On top of that, the club's best player, Max King, ruined his shoulder in an innocuous training mishap. In his time in the media, Lyon often admired the clubs that had rock-solid football programs and personnel. Contrast the events of the Saints with that of Collingwood, who today unveiled successful businessman and favourite son Craig Kelly as its CEO. Graham Wright will head up the football department. Second year and impressive coach Craig McRae will be supported by experienced former head coaches Brendan Bolton and Justin Lepage. Collingwood are rock solid, as are Geelong. They've shown it's not just players that win premierships, it's clubs. All key off-field leadership positions need to be filled by the absolute best. Lyon could have never imagined that his side would be searching for a new head of football just 48 days out from the start of the season. Sometimes that's how footy works. 1300 736 736. Jared, disappointing news for the Saints today.
No doubt, and best wishes to Geoff. Clearly, he's got an issue at home, and let's hope that he can overcome that. We'll wait and see what detail comes out about that down the track. But as far as St Kilda is concerned, well, that's life in many ways, isn't it? You just got to deal with the hurdles. It's a blow, there's no question, but they may unearth the next Geoff Walsh that can come through. And look, it's an exciting time. I know it's unsettled, and I know it's unstable to a small degree, or whatever degree you want to apportion it. But they have got a very experienced guy there. They've got very experienced assistant coach in Rob Harvey there.
Yep.
I mean, they've got a couple of young guys. We've got Corey Enright there as a super player, was a super player as we know, and clearly is somebody Ross Lyon wants to keep. And they've got this excitement, and that's what to me will override all the other issues in the short term. It's the excitement of new group, new coach, new this, new that. Let's get it on. A lot of it's on the back of an excitement around Ross Lyon. I accept that, and a couple of losses will kick that in the guts early in the piece. But I like the excitement element of where St Kilda are at the present time, albeit with an unfortunate omission in Geoff.
1300 736 736. You can have your say. One thing's for certain. Geoff Walsh said in that audio that we heard from earlier on that there was a sense of irrelevance. There won't be that, and we know that now with Ross Lyon, regardless of what is going on. But I mean, he wouldn't have expected his key forward to go down like it did, and we spoke to him about that. He certainly wouldn't have expected his head of football to walk away at the end of January.
I think just one final one before you go back, some texts and some calls. I think anybody at St Kilda needs to look at this with a longer lens. I mean, everyone wants to win in round one, and yes, everyone wants to play finals year on year. But this isn't a plan to win the premiership in 2023. This is a reset again, looking to get the best out of it.
Didn't they make the Brett Ratten call to get there now? Like they said, we are better than we have shown. Now,
they also said, Kane, if you remember, that they were prepared to go backwards to go forwards. And that may happen, but, that's okay. I mean, this is a plan that's deeper than just 1 year.
I was interested in Craig Kelly spoke on Dwayne's Word on SEN today, and he said, one of the quotes that he said, I personally believe that unless you get it all aligned, unless you look at it and you have everyone playing their position like you have in a successful team, the footy gods don't give you the end goal that you want. And I just think the contrast between Collingwood and how they've set their program up versus St Kilda. I mean, you're right. It's exciting. It's unpredictable. Who knows what's going to eventuate? But Ross was so adamant that you need a strong football department with all the pieces in the right place to be successful. And now he finds himself with this challenge, which is no fault of his own. It's no fault of Geoff Walsh's, and it's no real fault of the club. It's just an unfortunate situation. Jack, we'll get to you very, very shortly, but a lot of text coming through. Simon Lethlean needs to be looked at. A lot of criticism over Simon Lethlean as well. Hopefully, Craig Kelly, that is, can help the Pies pinch their next flag. Craig's going to be great for the club. He clearly knows how to speak and to manage people, and he's not a robot in a suit. The Saints are a joke. And this one on the AFL, with the AFL tweaking the rules, they should adjust the 30-second shot for a goal rule. It's cheating if a player doesn't have a shot after being given the time to do so. But just on the Collingwood news, Craig Kelly, no secret, it's been mooted for some months now. Jared?
I think they just waited for the Australian Open to conclude to get maximum exposure, and away they went today.
Pies fans, you can have your say on that. We'll speak to Luke Hodge very, very shortly. We've got lines available, 1300 736 736. The rule changes in the AFL, so what they have done is, they've stopped players faking the handball to try and get the man on the mark to move, which we saw a couple of times successfully, which results in a 50-metre penalty. That's out. That'll just be called play on. Firstly,
that's Jared, a good rule. That's a good rule, isn't it?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to hate the fake ended up in a 50-metre penalty. It's any movement under these circumstances, it's play on.
Yep. The other one was that if you are standing on the mark,
yep,
you cannot now retreat. So if you're there when a player in the vicinity takes them, you've got to stand the mark now. We've seen, and the best example is, I'm trying to explain it on radio, Bulldogs fans would be familiar. They didn't stand the mark. When there's a mark or a free kick from the opposition, they retreated, which gave them extra numbers behind the ball, almost like flooding sort of tactics. I didn't think it worked particularly well for the Bulldogs, but that's out. If you're in the area, you've got to actually stand the mark now. Jared Healy's tick of approval, yes or no?
Oh, definitely. It was actually the original rule. Steve Hocking, before he actually brought the stand rule in, I had a chat to him about it, and he had this plan that you couldn't man the mark from coming from behind the player who had the free kick or the mark. And that prevented you having the extra person flood back.
Yep.
So I thought that's, I asked him why he didn't bring it in initially, and I'm not even quite sure why he said he didn't. But ultimately, that's what you've ended up with that rule.
All right, before we get to Luke Hodge, Jack's been waiting patiently on the Harcourts Open Light. Jack, welcome to Sports Day.
G'day, fellas. Love your work. Good show.
Good, man. What's your thoughts?
Just quickly, I just think all's equal. And a healthy list, only two teams can win the flag this year, and I think it'll be either Melbourne or Brisbane. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a bit early for my pre-season predictions, Jared. They never.
Well, I wouldn't be counting out Geelong for starters.
Nothing to gain by doing pre-season predictions.
No, I mean dropping it down to 2 is fairly sharp this late in January.
I'm not prepared to do it yet. I will get to my pre-season predictions at some point.